Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend Podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Devin.
Those who do not appreciate life do not deserve life, because this week we recommend Saw 2.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Jason cannot be with us today because he's at a wedding for this weekend, and we really wanted to get my man D Money in here, and my other man D Money as well.
Good Lord.
Because this
them
is
double D's.
I always want to start off the Halloween season with a Saw movie. We may only do like Saw 3 after this, maybe 6, and then X.
Yeah, those are the better ones.
Those are the better ones.
Are they?
And
I don't remember.
maybe
I can't remember that
Jigsaw.
word
There's some
anymore.
parts of Jigsaw like it's
It looks more polished than the rest, but that's it.
yeah.
The one that came out last year, was that one a prequel?
It's
It's in between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same guy, Tobin Bell.
Yeah.
Playing a younger
He
version.
kills it, man.
well, I mean, he's looked 80 years old for 40 years now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
The man doesn't move his mouth when he talks in this movie.
No.
Natalie, as soon as I put it on this morning, she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot he doesn't move his mouth and he talks somehow."
Well, I mean, he's
Pretty great.
sick, but I mean.
I know that's what I said too. I was like, I mean, the man's got cancer. We gotta-
I'm already dying, man.
So
So
this is your favorite horror movie?
Yes.
Devin?
Yes, it is.
So why
my
is this?
go-to.
Why?
Like Saw franchise or just this one?
I think in general, like
Saw 2?
Saw 2 is
Alright.
probably my favorite horror film.
He saw it more than 2 times though.
He saw it more than
I've
2
seen
times?
I've seen Saw more than 2 times.
Damn, these are good jokes. We're crushing.
No, like, I just remembered almost that whole day because I seen it on opening night with me, my mom, my best friend Cullen, and another friend Charles. We ate Mexican before, and Cullen had gotten sick, so we had missed the opening scene, and I was kind of pissed about it because I really wanted to see it. But yeah, like shout out to my mom because she knew I wanted to. She knew I loved it after the first one, and
How
I
old
was
were
like
you at this point?
I had to be like
Teenager, right?
12, yeah, 11, 12.
Hell yeah.
That's better than what my mom did. For
This
my
is
birthday,
05.
it was one year we were going to go see one of the Saw movies. It might have been 3 or 4 at the time. And she was just like going to buy our tickets and drop us off. But the movie theater said, you have to go in there with them. And she said, I'm buying the tickets and saying they can go in. It said, It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You have to go in with them. And she's like, I'm not going to watch this. So we had to leave.
Oh, no.
I've had that happen to me when we were supposed to go see Halloween Resurrection, and I didn't get to go see it. And I was bummed. I'm pretty sure I cried, but
Eh.
yeah.
If you
Man,
hear me
imagine.
crying, it's probably because Devin just said we weren't his best friends.
Oh, wait a minute.
I hate that. Like you had to cry over Halloween Resurrection, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
you
one with
know.
Busta Rhymes?
Yes.
You
I
ever
seen
watched the
Busta
one
Rhymes.
with Paul Rudd?
Yeah, that's like the 4th or
Sixth
that's like
one.
5th or 6th one, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
6.
I had never seen
Well,
I don't remember
that one was-
Oh.
I haven't seen it all.
That
the
one
way.
was butchered by the studio and stuff. There's like a whole different cut and it's supposed to be
Imagine
completely
that.
different. Either way, it's terrible. Really bad. All right, Dakota, so do you like the Saw franchise? And if so, what's your favorite?
All right. So you ever come back to a franchise or something when you watched it when you're younger?
Mhm.
And you kind of like, I'm having this thing where I'm rewatching them and I'm having to like being older now watching it. I'm doing like my little nitpicks like, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. So I'm like having a hard time not nitpicking the hell out of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, these movies aren't perfect.
So
They're-
it's just,
No.
it's the
Lo-
thing when you eventually like watch
whole-
something again.
the whole premise of the killer sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes.
Yeah. And it's some of the stuff that Jigsaw's able to do. And I put down one of my notes. I was like, super villain antics. The stuff he's doing is like, if it was Batman, this is the level of stuff you would be seeing. Like crazy bars on the wall that can close, like a giant steel door that he was able to make it lock from a timer. I was like, that's some complicated shit that you could not hide.
He's an engineer.
That doesn't mean anything. Just because you're an
He
engineer.
has the power of cancer.
Come on, man.
It's the tumor on his brain.
Yes, it's
So then out of all of them, what would be your favorite that you've rewatched or remember?
I don't necessarily know. I will say I kind of enjoyed Saw 1 more only because one of my complaints in this one is that the lack of traps you see in it is very low, and they're kind of like, I mean, they're there, but they're very basic. Like the one that was the most intricate, in my opinion, was the nail helmet one.
Yeah.
Other one was just kind of normal. I did like the trap when the cops were coming up the stairs and that thing came out from it and like broke that dude's shins.
So cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
rolled.
I think that's
hurt.
like so far, like going back and watch them as I'm like trying to like nitpick them, but I also try and find like, I would say like a headcanon way that I'm like, how would this work in this world? What can I think of to compare it to? And that's what I've been doing, is comparing it to like a comic book villain. I was like, this would be like a villain going around Gotham without a Batman because of the level of intricacies with his traps and the stuff he can do is crazy. So I've been like, once I kind of found that, I'm like trying to enjoy him more. I'm probably going to go through a few of them because girlfriend's wanting to watch them. So we're going to try and watch a few more after this. But I also started at Friday the 13th last night.
Oh my gosh.
I watched the first one again and I was like,
boring as hell.
That's an overrated franchise. It is.
I mean, there's
it is.
Jason X.
That is a fun one.
Yeah, the worst one is the best one. That's how good
Jason is fun, and that's the thing
is.
about, because I grew up with those more. I grew up with Jason a lot, and it's just one of those, like, it's a classic slasher horror film, and I can watch that and not pick it apart because I'm like, he's just a dude in the woods who knows where it's at. Like, I'm able to, like, there's simple things you can knock away, especially when he becomes undead. It's like, of course he can do that. He's fucking undead.
Well,
it's an easy write-off. That's what Saul has, the problem of, like, it's a real-world person. So I'm like, well, there's no, like, in-between of, like, he's got this, like, they didn't say, like, his tumor on his...
when the girl has telekinesis powers, that's pretty normal.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you have an undead dude.
I mean, the best one is one with Crispin Glover in it because he's just got so much charisma.
That is a good one.
His dancing.
I don't even remember. I'm going to go through all those.
It's like the only actor in those movies that had like charisma and a thing that they wanted to do. Everybody else is just pretty basic. Like, we're teenagers and we're kind of annoying.
Oh, that's what I'm having a bigger problem I'm having with is like going back, because I remember, a lot of these people deserve to be in these traps, and going back and watching, I'm like, what the fuck? They don't deserve to be in here.
Mainly in this one would be the informant. I mean,
well, in the first
I guess
one
it's
alone,
like snitches get stitches.
Well, he's just an informant for a cop. That doesn't mean. Now, the only reason I agreed that he deserved to be in there was because he started kidnapping and helping with that. It's like, yeah, you deserve to like go in here.
Yeah.
Because that's terrible. And the junkie Amanda in the first one, like, come on, why the fuck? Is like, you don't deserve your life. Like, she's a fucking drug addict, dude.
Yeah, it helped her get it clean. It's the one person. It's the one
that's not how that works.
In her case, though, like, it's explained later in the franchise why she got picked, so...
Yeah, I know, but and also in the second one, it explains her like the whole cop situation. It's like, that makes sense. Like, I don't think he deserves to die, but that's well,
he doesn't kill him. He gives him a chance
to live.
We'll talk about that later. The chances.
I mean,
all right. Well, we'll move on a little bit. I mean, things getting heated in here. I can cut the tension with
these red shirts in here. I'm seeing red.
Well,
so I want to know, like, what makes a good horror movie for you guys?
Man.
Oh. Like, what is it that you look for in a horror movie? Mm-hmm. For me, I have to be invested in the characters a little bit.
I think a body count, a high body count.
I can see that too. I do like when I was watching Friday the 13th last night, I was like, 10 camp counselors. I was like, 10 bodies for them to die. When it's just 3 people, because it's how the stages of a movie works. If you got a lot of people, you're going to see a lot of death.
Yep.
But if it's 3, it's going to be like 1 death, then a lot of like in between of them just trying to survive. So I agree with that. A higher body count does like, it just invests more of like, some people are going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
But
it amps you up for it.
I think now for me, it's like, I just got to see something new. You know, like when we watched First Omen.
Oh, man.
Like, there was so much.
That was good.
It is good.
It's really
I need to watch that.
There's
one
stuff
year.
that I haven't like seen in horror movies. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. It was good.
And I liked all the characters pretty much.
Yeah.
As long as you can like all the characters, I can usually get invested, even if the scariness isn't there. But man, if I can just get scared, I just want that. I just want a movie to scare me, and it's
hard to do.
I think the last horror movie that really like gave me chills was The Conjuring 2 with the nun. Don't know what it is about that nun. It freaked me out.
See, that was a movie that you saw like a lot of new stuff. Crooked Man, whenever they're doing.
Oh my goodness.
When the little girl's sitting in a chair and like you see her slowly like forming into the old man, like while she's out of focus. That was really good.
That was awesome.
Real good.
Stuff like that in that movie is really good. Yeah. Boy fell asleep for his wedding day.
Yeah, that was a damn good movie.
And one thing before we start getting to facts, this movie, the trap is really just people not following instructions.
Yes.
This whole movie is like, if you just, like whenever you're like in English class and they always, like, I don't know, this always happened like almost every year where it's like, all right, here you goes, guys. The lesson today is following instructions. So here's a test, and you have to read the instructions and then fill out the whole thing. And then it'd be like, oh, you're doing it. And it says like, oh, make sure you write your first name and then do this and then fill out the whole thing. And at the very end, it says, you don't have to do this test. And then you do the whole test. And at the end, it's like everybody failed because everybody didn't read the instructions fully. That's this entire movie.
Well, Devin might not know that because he didn't graduate.
Yeah, no, I did not graduate.
Damn, dude, do you have to really do that? Millions of people might listen to this one day.
They need to know who we are.
But I hear what you're saying, but I know originally Darren Lynn Bousman pitched his own movie, The Desperate. And if I just take that name, Desperate, like when you're so desperate, you're not going to really think straight. So to me, that explains, that's...
I get that. I'm definitely
down. Now I'm like, okay, that's why y'all are dumb, because y'all are so desperate.
Well, they're also dying because they said they had that nerve agent and they were slowly like coughing up. So I was like, when they were doing stuff, I definitely agree. It's like, you're not going to like, in that moment, you're kind of like, oh, fuck.
Well, you got a time limit. You're dying.
Only reason anybody died in this movie is Xavier. They make it out of this trap. They make it out of this house without Xavier.
That guy, I was like, oh, I forgot about him.
It should have been, as soon as they saw a baseball bat with nails, they should have been like, all right, we have to put this in Xavier's head at one point. Because he's the worst.
But I mean, they didn't have to follow him though.
I know.
Like you had Jonas, the black guy.
He's my favorite character.
What else is he in?
Oh, dude.
I feel like I just watched him recently.
I don't know. Y'all keep talking. I'll look it up.
South Central, but I'm sure y'all haven't seen that.
Well, maybe he was in The Cube.
He's in Speed, I think.
Speed 2.
No, he's in Speed.
He is Speed. He's the guy in the car. Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy when Keanu Reeves like takes his car. Yeah.
I haven't seen Speed.
He's in The Day of Tomorrow, Showgirls, Strange Days.
I keep forgetting he's in
Freak with Vince Vaughn.
Freak, yeah.
Okay.
No,
Freaky?
Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
What was oh God, I'm trying to think. So one thing I noticed, when they go to the second floor and it's the pit of needles.
Yeah, dude.
That's a great scene.
That's an experience in the theater right there.
That's a good scene.
See, that's the thing. This movie has some of my favorite traps. They're not much of traps, but like they're like some of my favorite parts.
They're like more realistic traps because like the thing with her hands up there in the box, that one, I was like, well,
Rules. Yeah, love that one.
Again, they're on the second floor.
Right.
And
I get what you said.
Okay. And how deep that pit was.
Yeah.
And this quote house, like this is not a house. This is a fucking old apartment or something.
No, it's a house. It's a housing project or something. They revisit this same house in Saw 5.
There's no house that's built like this.
Bro, like
I've seen the franchise.
What house also has this dirty ass bathroom at the bottom? Is this a communal house that everyone's supposed to take that shits in together? That might be good. You're over there, I'm over here, and we could just talk. It's like, man, this is getting real hard to pinch it off right now.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they filmed this entire film in like just a warehouse, like the whole thing, even the stuff with Tobin Bell. That was all filmed in the same exact place too. That's probably why it has a weird layout.
Well, I know it's not. Like, it's just when they said it was a house, I was like, this isn't a house. This is not realistically a house. This is like, because it has an open area. It has, I don't even know how many rooms because that dude could not find them.
So I guess, yeah.
Because you got to think about how long those halls were for a house that size. That wouldn't be a house. That would be an old apartment building or something like that. And having that big ass basement down there that went to another level and had multiple doors down there as well.
What's a trap house?
Damn. Golly. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll have to tell them that they need to make a more convincing house next time.
They could just say in this abandoned building, and then I could just...
In Shining, I mean, that whole entire motel.
Yeah, that's a motel. It's a giant motel that's like popping.
But like the purpose was it was to make it like not make sense. So maybe that was his purpose in this one. Probably not.
Sure.
But they're just trying to make a movie and like with $8 million, we gotta give them a break a little bit.
Yeah.
Damn.
All of it's on Tobin Bell.
We'll be up after this. All right, so we'll hop into some facts. So the needle pit may be considered to be one of the best traps in the series, but it was the most complex scene in the entire franchise to set up. First off, the crew had to order a staggering 120,000 syringes. That was the easy part. They then spent 4 days replacing all the needle points with fiber tips to ensure the actress in the scene, Shawnee Smith, didn't stab herself. As an extra precaution, gelatin and water was poured into the pit to make the syringes extra slippery, but no matter how careful one is, something can always go wrong. One day, some real needles fell into the pit, forcing the production to cease until they were located. This means the crew had to literally find a needle in a haystack of needles.
That fucking sucks.
So they had to completely take out every single one of them.
Also, repeat that how hard it was for the crew to get that, and Jigsaw just had them?
No, getting the syringes was easy.
Yeah.
It was replacing the needles.
Yeah, 120,000. A crew had to spend how much money on it? So obviously Jigsaw is fucking rich.
Well, his wife works at a rehab facility.
How does that make you rich?
Well, I'm saying that's how he got the needles.
No rehab. If you have a rehab facility has 120,000 needles.
He was an engineer. He was rich.
Yeah.
He was a rich guy.
Money ain't an issue to him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, so he was super rich.
Well, yeah.
And it was just like, because I don't remember 3 that well, but I know in the 3rd one, the girl he captures to operate on his brain was a nurse, right? She wasn't a surgeon.
Yeah.
So if he's this rich, he definitely could have found somebody, because it seemed like he's like, just remove the tumor and I'll be all right. Like, well, you definitely could have done that if you have this much money.
The point of Saw 3 was that he was going to die.
Yeah.
And then how many more we got after that without him?
Like a lot of backflashes.
Yeah, that's when it
flashbacks.
That's when
Backflashes.
Girl, you got a backflash on you.
I'll give you a backflash.
All right, so following the success of Saw, Lionsgate wanted a sequel and had received a script by Darren Lynn Bosman called The Desperate. It was thought to be similar to Saw, so they brought it in Lee Winnell, and it was rewritten into Saw 2. Devin already knew that one.
Yes, sir.
And then the director, Lynn Bosman, ended up doing Saw 3 and Saw 4, and then Spiral. We don't talk about Spiral.
I haven't seen that one.
It's okay.
So the actor Lyric Bent, he's the guy that plays the SWAT guy.
Rig, baby.
Yeah, and he ends up being in Saw 4.
4.
Yeah. The transitions in Saw 4 are crazy.
They starting this one, though?
Yeah. So he originally auditioned for the role of Xavier, but the producers didn't want to reinforce a negative stereotype of African-American drug dealers, so he was cast as a SWAT commander Rig. In the long run, this benefited him because he was in Saw 3 and Saw 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least they decided we don't want to do the typical cliche thing.
And I guess Lee Winnell admitted that he looked up Spanish Inquisition torture devices on Google to come up with some of these traps.
Oh, maybe that's why they're kind of more on like I would say like a realistic side that is something someone could do. They're not like overly complicated.
It's more barbaric.
Yeah.
Especially that nail mask one.
Oh man, that rules.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's like the Iron Mask. It's great.
I haven't seen that.
Shawnee Smith, pregnant, 4 months pregnant while filming this whole entire movie.
I did not know that.
She kept it a secret from everybody, so nobody knew during the whole thing.
So we're going to pick you up and throw you around for several scenes. Okay, I'm good.
I really hope that was the stunt double.
I'm trying to think of like the other movies, because I was talking to Jesse about it, and I was just like, I remember certain scenes from movies, but I don't remember which specific scene they're from. Like, I still remember the one movie, which I think was 7, that had the guy from Linkin Park in it, R.I.P.
Yeah, Chester.
And I remember the scene.
It's like one of the worst ones.
Yeah, the blood is pink. Gosh.
What?
Dude, it's bad.
It's the whole 3D craze. So annoying.
I was, she was looking up trailers for him. She was trying to figure out which one, because she kept saying, it's like, yeah, there's one I love that has 5 people and they're just random people. I was like, that's Saw 2. She's like, no, it's not.
Saw 5,
it's like all of them. Like eventually they all become group traps.
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't remember which one. I was
6 also had like a group of people.
Yeah, so she was watching through the trailers, and she was watching 7, which is the 3D one, I think, whichever. And she's like, how do you watch a 3D movie? I said, what do you mean?
It's actually Saw the final chapter. That
yeah, but they did promote it like
true.
Saw 3D during that time.
So
terrible.
I guess spoilers. The final chapter, is it the one that ends with a doctor in the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did watch that one, but that's the only scene I remember from that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when I rewatched all of them, I wasn't able to watch the final chapter, so I still need to watch it. I'm just not looking forward to it. I do remember the first death was kind of crazy in the car with the what's his name from Linkin Park.
Yeah, that one is gory.
That was pretty good. It was a pretty good start.
Check
and then
out
it
her
just
face.
then it was just by the end of it, it was like, what are we doing? I'm so confused at what's happening.
Yeah.
Now, do you think in modern day that Jigsaw could get away with this?
Probably not.
No.
I always sit here and think, I make the joke of like, man, there's so many abandoned buildings he's using. He's got to be in Detroit. Because I mean,
yeah,
like,
it is. Yeah.
but didn't you say in the first one it's supposed to be set like in New Jersey or something?
Man, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Did you host that podcast? Or?
Yeah, I did.
Was it Jason?
That was like a year ago.
Did you watch
man.
the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch that movie?
Hey, I watched the hell out of it.
Oh man.
All right, so Tobin Bell has also said that Saw 2 is his personal favorite, as it's one that he had the most Jigsaw. It's the one that had the most Jigsaw, especially after having spent most of the first movie lying on the floor. And the movie itself was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Horror Film, but lost to The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Also a good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't like it as a kid. So if I go back,
Is that
it
the
might
one
be
with
better.
I might hate it now because I did like it as a kid.
Exorcism, is that the one with
The court stuff.
Courtroom.
Yeah, that's what bored me.
Well,
Yeah.
even as
I
a-
didn't like that.
Well, I
one.
knew what it was based off of, even as a kid.
I didn't.
And I was like, oh yeah, because it's a whole thing of, hey, there was this family just killing this kid by thinking she was possessed and not like just taking her to a therapist, or was she actually possessed?
Well, see, I
course,
thought it
the
was
movie
going to be
makes
like
it
kind of
worse.
like a spin on. Well, not a spin, but I guess like what maybe the last exorcism was. Like it's fake, it's all in her head type of thing.
Yeah, I need to see that movie.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Dude, it's good.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
Don't
the
watch the second one.
premise.
The second one's terrible.
Yeah, that's what I also heard.
Awful.
So we'll just do the last one. This is kind of a spoilery one. So there was a lot of backstory about the game's participants, which deleted for pacing reasons. According to DVD commentary, Addison was a prostitute, which was merely implied in the finished film. You can see her in Saw 4 in a flashback where she tries to seduce John Kramer. She had sex once with Detective Matthews in the backseat of a police car, but they were discovered and the scandal led to Eric's demotion. However, he made sure that Addison would be incarcerated anyway. Gus, the guy who gets blasted in the face at the beginning, or with a gun, was an embezzler of money. The needle in the glass box trap was intended for him with a symbolic reference of the proverb, trying to reach into the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
I
if
didn't
they
think you
had
was
put
gonna
that
mention
in the
that.
movie, I would have enjoyed that much more because I was like, I'm missing some context for some of these people who are just dying.
But that's what's great about
then it's
it. Like,
And then Laura was incarcerated because of shoplifting, but we never saw which trap was meant for her.
Well, I think that's
Yeah,
my problem is that another thing is like growing up, I was like, Jigsaw's doing this to people who deserve this. Now I'm just like, oh, I'm having to come to grips with like, he's just not a good person. Cause I'm like, you're watching a dude which is another thing I'm just having to get used to. Once I get used to it and like get more accustomed to it. Cause in my head, it was like, he's a dude, he's like a sadistic punisher. It's people who deserve it. And he's like, if you actually do this trap, you learn to value life more than what you do. But I'm like, this is some extreme shit, dude. You nuts.
Oh, you mean the villain in a horror movie is nuts?
It's a horror movie, but I didn't see him as like a typical, like I said, I hadn't watched these since I was a kid. So it's a whole new thing coming back into it, like nearly, oh my God, like 15 years later.
Oh, I just found something. So I guess the creators originally had Amanda dig through a bathtub full of syringes instead of like a giant pit, but they realized it wasn't intense enough. And then they were going to have her in like a pool of needles, but realized that would be impossible to sink into. So they just ended up doing it this way.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's one of the best ones.
And I guess Addison, originally she was going to be in a trap that had her like tied to a chair, and she's going to be, her wrists were going to be shackled. And there would be something planted to her. Oh, she was going to have a key planted to her wrist, and she was going to have to like cut her wrists and stuff to open it to get out.
So where'd you get that at? Because I've heard numerous
IMDb.
theories about her. Something about
Is that the blonde?
Addison's
the prostitute.
Okay.
I heard once she had to press her face up against a griddle to get a key, which
Because
makes
she's-
sense because she's
Oh.
beautiful.
They kind of did that for Saw X almost. But with the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's a little different.
Yeah, I think if they had put some of the I would have liked more backstory to them. Of course, I would have just been more like, you don't deserve to be in this trap. You don't deserve to die. You don't deserve to die. Xavier though,
Nah, man.
I was like, he's a dickhead, but then he started doing more. I was like, yeah, he deserves to die.
He did, but I was rooting for him when I first seen it.
Xavier?
Yes. Don't know why. I was just like, maybe it's because he was wanting to live, the thing he does towards the end of the movie. I'm like, yeah, you need to live. And then I'm like, wow.
I mainly just root for Jonas. Like he was, if Xavier wasn't there, Jonas would have got them all out.
I think so.
Yeah. They'd been like, let's wait. Let's just look at this trap. Let's see what we can do. Let's not bust in every room and start the timer.
Every time he tries to start talking, though, he's always interrupted. Yeah, and they just like, move on to the next thing.
Nobody tells that dude to shut the fuck up.
Well, he wouldn't listen. He's all brute strength.
I would just be like, let him go off on his own. We'll figure it out.
They all just walk off.
What kills me is they just try to keep a black man down,
Even though he's the tallest one.
All right, so we're going to get into the characters.
Like some people do with their dogs.
So,
Jesse.
So we have Donnie Wahlberg as Eric Matthews. Wahlburgers in this.
I thought.
Damn, I got one cast member.
I'm just saying, he was the one person I wanted to talk about. I was like, oh, is that the guy from the Venom film who's supposed to be Toxin now? Because he looked a lot like him, and I had to go through a whole Google thing to see if it was him or not.
Is it him?
No, it wasn't. Okay. Obviously, I said it looked like him. I thought it was. Give me that mean look.
Everybody from Boston looks the same. I don't know. Then you got Beverly Mitchell as Laura, Frankie G as Xavier, Emmanuel Valier, I don't know how to say her name, Addison, Tobin Bell, the man,
the goat.
John Kramer, Mr. Jigsaw himself, Shawnee Smith, the second goat, Amanda, Eric Nunson is Daniel. Probably just, man, he is just.
That's the kid, right?
Yeah, he.
Saw 4? Not Saw 4, Scream 4.
Yeah. Glenn Plummer. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's in Scream 4. He was the one ahead of the time. Going live on his.
God, I love Scream 4.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Huh. Glenn Plummer is Jonas. Timothy Bird is Obi. Dina Meyer is Carrie. Lyric Bent is Rig. And that's pretty much all. Oh, and then Tony Napo is Gus, but you don't really need to know him too long.
No.
But yeah, so that's it. Y'all ready to hop in?
Definitely.
We're like almost an hour in already? Just kidding, we're not. 30 minutes though. We have to start. All right. So the film opens with Michael, played by Norman Jenkins, a police informant, finding himself ensnared in a deadly trap created by the Jigsaw character killer. Jesus.
Already.
I love the point of view, though, of this scene, where he's just kind of looking around, and then you get like the reveal of his eye into the mirror. Then it kind of pulls back. Really good.
Slick.
It really started off really nice. Then we get a videotape message. Hello, Michael. I want to play a game. So far, what could loosely be called your life, you've made a living watching others. Society would call you an informant, a rat, a snitch. I call you unworthy of the body you possess. Stop. Of the life that you've been given, now we will see if you are willing to look inward rather than outward, to give up the one thing you rely on in order to go on living. The device around your neck is a death mask. The mask is on a spring timer. If you do not locate the key in time, the mask will close. Think of it like a Venus flytrap. What you're looking at right now is your own body, not more than 2 hours ago. Don't worry, you're sound asleep. And you can feel a thing.
We almost there, baby. We almost there.
Taking into account that you are at a great disadvantage here, I'm going to give you a hint as where I've hidden the key. So listen carefully. The hint is this. It's right before your eyes. How much blood will you shed to stay alive, Michael? Live or die. Get her done.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yes, sir.
So you just got to get the key out of his eye.
I would have sat there.
But not
or
out.
stood.
Like the thing is like when you see it like where it is, he obviously cut under his eye. And like to do that, which this is me being like very nitpicky.
Oh, hell yeah.
When you cut where he cut, he would have tucked it under because he could still see out of the eye. It wasn't like he cut that eye out. So like several scenes he's about to cut his eyeball and I'm like, dude, it's just, and the thing, like he says, oh, the key where it's at. If he just did it 2 hours ago, then the skin is still open. Even if he stitched it up, just cut the stitches.
Yeah, well, you got 60 seconds. You think of all that.
Well, I mean,
I mean, you're right.
time don't start till he pulls the pin.
Yeah, I know. That's where they all mess up. They all mess up.
And the thing is, he was
Right there.
calm when he woke up.
He woke up. Hey,
I want to hear about talking
up.
wrong from you.
Hey, that was Jigsaw, not me.
Oh, got him.
Speaking of which, Devin, you're gonna have to do your Jigsaw impersonation, right? We're all gonna do it
All right.
because I was doing it last night too.
Goodness.
Well,
Now or
this whenever
later
you want,
in?
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. So, I think it's just gonna be faster because I'm assuming that when he cut under his eye, he like shifted it to where it'd be behind his eye. So, if you have 60 seconds, it's probably gonna be the quickest way to do it.
I know, but I just feel like that's also not enough time, 60 seconds, to try and cut your eye because of course, he did just give up, and I'm like, bro.
They did it. In one of them did it, right? No.
like-
I was thinking of the one where the girl cuts
The dudes.
the dude's stomach. That was from
Amanda?
the first one.
I said him- in the first one, it
Yeah,
cuts out the
that's
stomach.
Amanda. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. My bad. My B, guys. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Michael realizes through the hints left by Jigsaw that he's going to have to cut his own eye. When the timer runs out, though, because he cannot bring himself to cut out his eye, the device slams shut, killing him instantly. And then you get the insane edits that you always get in the Saw movies, and it's just going buck wild.
Fire.
But yeah, I feel like, so realistically, I'm thinking while watching this, I'm like, this seems like a quick death, right? Like, I'm just not going to cut out my eye. I feel like that's what he comes to the realization to. It's like, I'm just going to die either way. And I feel like this is a pretty much instant death, I'd assume.
I would say so because those are some pretty long nails and it fully clasp. And once it hits your brain, now you're probably going to feel something for a minute, but once it gets into your brain, you're going to be like,
Because it cuts pretty fast. It's almost like a
Flatline.
bullet just hitting you in the head, I'd assume.
well, your brain still is going to be firing off signals, but yeah, he dead. I
couldn't do it, man.
I just like,
my
you know what?
eye,
You just don't have your eye on the ball.
I
mean, I can barely put eye drops in my eye.
I don't have a problem with that.
I rarely do
I
that.
can touch my eyeball, but I can't put eye drops in. It's so weird.
Can I touch your eyeball?
No, I don't know. Go wash your hands, maybe.
I did wash them.
All right, so then we cut and we meet Detective Eric Matthews, who's picking up their son for shoplifting, I'm assuming. They argue and it does not go well. And so they're just arguing on the film. It's like, I just want to go back to mom. So, brother, just go back to mom.
What did you fucking say?
I'm Johnny Wahlberg. I own Wahlburgers. So is Jigsaw the one fishing behind him?
Oh.
There's a guy fishing and he looks like an older man and he knows everything that was said at
He's
this.
usually, yeah.
So it had
Well,
to
there
be
was
him,
also
right?
a guy who ran by. Now, the cancer guy obviously wasn't the one running, but
Hey,
it
just
seemed-
because you have cancer,
Yeah,
doesn't mean you
come
can't
on,
run.
that could have been
man.
Amanda. But I
It
think
could have been Amanda.
Yeah, she's short. Yeah, short hair.
her weird like that time.
I don't.
2000s, baby.
Yeah.
The 2000s. Let's
gosh.
go. Worst fashion sense ever. The
Reminds me
2000s.
of like Josh Hartnett in that one movie with the
Faculty.
The faculty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man,
Good movie.
I had that hair. Just messy.
You still do.
So the next day, he tries to call him because he's all like sad and stuff at home. And he can't get a hold of him, though. So, and then we cut to the next day. Detective Eric Matthews is called to the scene of yet another death perpetrated by Jigsaw on the account of his name being written on the wall. Look closer, Detective Matthews. The informant was the informant for Matthews.
Yeah, we're gonna bypass that slick transition when he throws that blazer on.
Oh, yeah.
That was
You mean when he goes out of the apartment and,
and
then
into the crime
that was
scene.
really
That was
good.
slick,
I thought
man.
that was really
Wow,
cool.
I'm starting.
I mean,
He didn't watch the movie.
Oh, my God, dude. Just stop. Okay. Do you want to read this?
No,
now?
no.
I also want to talk about Jigsaw's impeccable cutting of flesh skills to
Mhm.
make a perfect jigsaw piece
Dude.
out.
He's an
with-
engineer.
It takes time.
Is this like you're an engineer? You can do anything.
Yeah, man. You know how hard it is to become an engineer,
Yeah.
You know it's a
It's
lot of
not-
math, right?
And you know
dude.
When you're an engineer,
who the greatest engineer of all was? God who made us.
Man.
Praise him.
we are talking about fictional things, so that makes
Oh
sense.
my god.
All right, so
Good job, Jesse.
so Matthews does not want to help with the investigation, but Carrie's trying to get him to help. They're having like a little like argument. At night, Matthew dreams about the crime scene and he realizes that he's notices a padlock in his dreams, I guess, of an Iron Maiden like device around the victim's neck. Bears a Wilson Steel logo. And then he gathers a SWAT team and arrives at the company's abandoned factory, which has now become another layer of Jigsaw's. I love all this as they're getting ready to go. You have, what was his name? Crap.
Rig.
Yeah. like, just like the good old days, huh? And then you have
What'd you call him?
Rig?
and
What?
and then you have what's her name? Carrie. It's like, what was it?
Oh, man.
Thought
poor
your
Carrie.
caseload was big enough as it is. Because he was talking about he has too many cases, so that's why he can't help with the
For a
jigsaw
guy who
stuff.
got demoted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we cut to like one of the best parts of the whole movie. As the team make their way in, 3 SWAT members get trapped in a cage because get old Billy the dog
puppet.
comes up and he's like, "Hey yo, this is Saul, baby. What y'all up to?" And then they get trapped in a cage and the doll rolls up, breaks one of the guy's legs, and then they all get electrocuted because they're all dumb.
Except him.
Yeah.
So he benefited from getting his damn legs.
Yeah.
God,
snapped.
I love Jigsaw also just loving like that part where he's like using the doll to mess with him. I love that little part of him because it's something that goes with the serial killer more, just messing with the people
Yeah.
and using that doll. Because I mean, who
The
doesn't?
doll
love-
rules. It looks
The
so
dog
good.
looks-
It's so
meant for his
scary.
child too. Like
I love. There's one of them.
Oh my God!
yeah. So I don't.
I love the one where like it's completely dark in a hallway and the doll slowly like comes out. I just always like want the doll to like fall over,
Well,
and
I
then
keep-
just have John Kramer. Hey, could you like pick me up, please?
You mean like in Scary Movie 4?
Oh my god.
Damn it.
Or was that 3?
Three.
Yeah.
It's
Give me
3.
that look of
No,
like-
4 is the one with like Shaq, and that's the whole Saw one.
Oh yeah,
3
because he
3 is-
dies.
3 is Signs.
He can't make the
Ring,
free throw.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, my fault.
because
my
3 is
fault.
my favorite one, and 4 was terrible.
Yeah,
Because I had Dr. Phil in it or something.
Yeah,
right?
well,
that's the
They did, like a
beginning.
Dr.
I
Phil
like the
joke.
first two.
I like the third one.
You don't like the first two?
No, I
you
like
watch
the
the-
first 2, but my third's.
Did you watch the 5th one?
Which one's that? Is
Yeah,
that
we-
the one with that Disney chick in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
I think
Charlie
it's-
Sheen's still in it too.
And
Yeah,
Lindsay
I seen it
Lohan.
one time.
Yeah.
Nah,
It's
nah.
fine. So as a team, whoop, already did that. They see Jigsaw just sitting behind a desk waiting for him.
Fire
great.
intro.
Yeah, it
It's
was
so
awesome.
fire.
It is funny to see how much like because you see scenes of him in like I would say the previous movie. He looks really a lot thinner here. I don't know if that was just me, but I feel like he looked a lot thinner than what you saw him in the first one.
He's got cancer, right?
I know,
So
but,
he's-
like-
okay.
Uh,
Did you
well,
watched it?
They put an oversized.
I mean, I closed my eyes so I could really listen more.
so I think they put an oversized cloak on him. I think that's what made him
okay.
made his head look a lot.
Because I know they were
smaller.
trying to go with like he's dying.
Dying.
So I
Well,
was
and
like,
he
oh,
also just Tobin Bell's a really good actor.
Mm.
Like even outside the Saw franchise, he's been acting forever. He's in a lot of Scorsese's movies. I think he's even in Goodfellas or it's The Godfather, something like that. He's kind of been around forever. But yeah, and just the way that he's able to shrink his body and how disfeeble he sounds, he's really good at that. So Matthews asks if this is close enough.
Oh,
They want to take him away, but he says he will need to stay while Matthew deals with his problem. And then they start investigating the room. They see all the monitors and stuff set up.
the computer monitors.
like, yeah, it's a set of-
CCTVs.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
gosh,
it
this
shows
guy.
several people trapped in a mysterious house with Daniel among them. A timer is also present with less than 2 hours left. Considerably weakened by rapidly advancing brain cancer, Jigsaw informs Detective Matthews that he will see his son in a safe place.
I do love all
If he
that.
can sit in the room.
Those are like my biggest points are the little like hints and stuff. But I also did like he's like, I think that's my son because he couldn't clearly tell.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think that's him.
It's like, I really don't talk to him
Thank
that much anyways. I
Well,
barely
it's
know what he looks
not
like.
clear.
But
Yeah.
that's the first little tip that you know, because he's like, it's been a while since I looked at the monitor, so I can imagine he's cowering in a corner like
That's
That's exactly what he's
like
doing,
that's what
like-
does make me like besides my little personal things of just like the quality of Saw is little hints like that happen that you're like, oh shit.
yeah.
But also just when I think of Saw, I also think of just the traps and watching people die.
Yeah, but Jigsaw, I mean,
It was good.
this one is just he's great and he's speaking in riddles.
him
He's
so
giving
much.
you like
Yeah, he kind of.
he's on his A game in this one.
Well, and it's completely different from Saw 1 at this point because, like he's telling you the hints of the whole movie at first. In the first one, you had to figure it out like an escape room.
You're not
this
listening to me.
chance. So yeah, Matthews has to sit in a room and converse with him long enough for him to reveal his son. And you get the great line, "Oh yes, there will be blood."
Yeah.
That you always hear for forever.
And then that's how the 2007 hit movie "There Will Be Blood" came to be.
Oh,
Not really.
oh.
So in the house, the kidnapped people are trying to figure out how they got there. One person is passed out on the floor, and later it turns out to be Amanda, who definitely already had the antidote.
Yep.
That was one thing that didn't get me in the whole. Like even when I first watched it, I was like, she's bad. There's no way she's the only one that doesn't get sick throughout the whole thing.
That was, I mean.
And I was like, why is she sleeping longer? And I was like, this is all
wait for everybody. She's doing the thing. She's just like Jigsaw in the first one. She's the last one to wake up and get up.
Oh.
So there are 6 people in addition to Daniel and Amanda, and none of them knows who the others are. Also, there's only 6 antidotes, and there's 7 people in there. Well, they only reveal 6 antidotes through the whole film. Because there's 2 in the incinerator, there's 2 in the syringe room, and then there's 1
in the box.
In the box with the hands, and there's 1 in the safe, and they never mention another one throughout the whole film. So she's already had hers. And because we'll just get into it. I just don't need to spoil the whole damn movie. So Amanda finds a cassette player, and a note falls to the floor. She plays this cassette tape. Greetings and welcome. I trust that you're all wondering where you are. I can assure you that while your location is not important, what these walls offer you is important salvation if you earn it. 3 hours from now, the door to this house will open. Unfortunately, you only have 2 hours to live. Right now, you are breathing in a deadly nerve agent. You've been breathing it in since you've arrived here. Those of you familiar with the Tokyo subway attacks will know its devastating effects on the human body. The only way to overcome it and walk out the door is to find an antidote. Several are hidden around the house. 1 is inside the safe in front of you. You all possess the combination to the safe. Think hard. The numbers are in the back of your mind.
I did love that.
The clue to their order can be found over the rainbow. Once you realize what you all have in common, you'll gain a better understanding on why you're here. X marks the spot for that clue, so look carefully. Let the game begin. So yeah, fun.
I want to say a nerve agent.
It's sarin gas. That's what they use in the Tokyo.
It'll kill you, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it works pretty quick, so.
Well, yeah, the thing is like, oh, you're going to walk out of here. It's like, well, if it takes them like the last 30 minutes, their bodies are fucked for life. You don't just recover. For a nerve agent that's slowly killing you, you don't recover fully.
Dakota.
Well, you seem
like
have a
PhD like you, so
you
I don't
act like
know.
You said it was killing me.
It would.
Well, if you graduated, you would.
You're right.
Damn, guys, can we be friendly here?
I don't think it's going to happen today.
Saw 2 is going to break up a friendship.
It's just, we're going to end up waking up and it's like, you guys on your podcast seem like you are friends.
They're going to be like, Jesse, is this you?
Then we'll just hear Jesse, gotcha, guys.
Well, you just hear, he's just constantly messing up his speech.
Oh, God damn.
So they all learn that the house of the door will open in 3 hours, blah, blah, blah. Then that it's sarin gas leaking in. And so one of these is in, oh God, I just said all this.
Do you podcast?
So, all right, we're going to go all that. So Gus, one of the guys in it, is quickly killed while peering out the door's peephole because Xavier attempts to unlock the door with a key that was found with the note which reads, "Do not attempt to use this key on the front door to this room. Read the directions, people." Also, why are you looking at that peephole while you're opening the door?
I can't see past that, man.
No. It's the worst part of
and
the movie.
It's another one of my things of like, I would have liked to have known about him before he got his head shot off. But when I saw him stick it, like, it's funny because Xavier turns the key, right, while he's looking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, why would you do that? That's so dumb. I understand them, like, not because it doesn't make sense, but I also, like, on the news, everybody would know about the Jigsaw murders and these intricate traps because it was a big thing and he was still out on the loose.
Well, most of them, a lot of them do. There's some that do, some that just don't. Well, I mean, some of them been in prison. So,
true.
Yeah, some of them are junkies. There's been junkies in there, so they don't know too much about them. And then one of them does know him because he helped kidnap for him. So they freak out. They start interrogating Amanda, who says he is testing him, and they have to play by the rules. And then Saw 2 now starts intercutting between Jigsaw's lair as Matthew talks with Jigsaw in an attempt to buy time while the video signal is traced, and the captives in the house trying to secure antidotes. Also find out that Matthews and Carrie boned, and that's how the marriage got ruined.
They
just by like one quick little line where she's
too
like,
much quick stuff.
Well, apparently it goes.
You gotta pay attention.
They cut out more of like a conversation between them. I guess they just felt like one line was probably enough because it's not really intricate.
Yeah, because she's whispering too.
Yeah.
Like,
but he just essentially says like, "I'm the reason that y'all don't have a great relationship.
You already lost him once because of me," or something like that.
Yeah,
I do like this movie is like what, an hour and a half?
Hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole pacing thing, I would have been fine if they had they sit there and talk about the scenes they cut out, but near the end they keep the scene of when the detective's driving away and those cutaways of the van, and then the SWAT team driving away too with the cutaways. Man. It looks so goofy. I'm like, we kept that, but we didn't keep some of these people's past to realize why they're there. But as you come to realize, this is not for them. It's for the detective.
And Saw X kind of fixes all the problems with that type of stuff because
it takes a while to get to.
They really go into the backstory, kind of like all of them in Saw X, and it's also the longest out of all of them.
Is that the final chapter? Is it Saw X final chapter?
Man.
No, because there's gonna be a Saw 11.
Don't confuse Saw X with the final chapter.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I don't know. There's so many.
So nice. I've seen it twice in theaters.
I do like to say, as I was talking about Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween, how they're a long franchise of horror movies.
They always.
This was our last one that we had of a long franchise of a horror person.
Scream's still going.
Yeah, but it took a break for a good minute, and it's not up to 10 films like they were.
Hey, they're gonna get there.
Terrifier will too.
Maybe.
Will too.
So let's get back to the game. The locked doors open, and they all go through. Xavier finds a baseball bat with nails on it. Rad. He says he's going off to find an antidote, while Jonas wants to stick together and form a game plan because he's the only smart one in the room. Addison spits up blood. Like, what's wrong? Nothing. Just like a damn loogie. Like her tonsils out in it.
I mean, she's a woman. They're used to seeing blood come out of them.
Damn, dude. God.
Bars.
Wow. Everybody unsubscribe.
No
Thanks.
pads.
Oh, my God. Get him.
Any ladies that listen, I'm so sorry. So Matthew and John start talking. John wants to play a game. I want to play a game. He says his son is in a safe and secure place, so you learn his name. Turns out John knows a lot about Matthews and that he isn't the best detective. He is antagonizing him a bit and then asks for some water. I love when he asks for water because he goes through the whole dialogue, right? And he's just constantly antagonizing him and talking about how he's a bad cop and he's behind the desk now because of bad things that he did. And obviously because Matthew's like, this isn't by the manual. And he's like, oh, you use that now?
The manual?
Yeah, like the police manual. And he's like, you don't seem to use that often.
I love that he was doing that because of everything he knows.
But
he knows what he's doing.
To give him the water. Just so, could you give me a glass of water?
And he just knows just.
But then but once he walks away to give him water, like John, he gives this look where he's like, he knows what's about to happen. Like he knows that he's about to get the crap beat out of him. Because he kind of has this kind of face where he's like, give me water. And then he drops the whole persona just for a second. And it's like, man, he knows that he's about to get beat up. I feel like.
I do love his
good.
Tobin Bell being like, you can beat me all you want. I'm dying of cancer. What more could you do to me? I was like, he got a point. Or what he said, I'm more pain than you could already.
Oh, you imagine, yeah.
And the fact at this point, he already has 7 movies worth of traps set up. So he's got a whole game planned. So Xavier bashes a door open that says exit, but it has bars behind it. Addison and Xavier start fighting. The only thing that opens with you is your legs.
Oh,
they start fighting. Bad. You son of a bitch. Jonas comes up. Guys, we don't have time for this.
And he's not angry. He's just like, come on now. He's so level-headed this. And I'm like,
you can't.
If you were in the other films, man, you would have survived.
If he wasn't for this fucking idiot.
Yeah, God. Jonas is trying to figure out what everybody has in common because he's like, that's going to be the key. He said that's the key. And says they should do is what the tape says. And they start talking about how it's like, all right, so I was in prison, he was in prison, you were in prison to Addison and Xavier. And then everybody else, they're all like, no, we weren't in prison. When Amanda obviously was.
Well, they were they didn't, that's what I didn't understand. They're like, oh, we 3 have been in prison. And then nobody else keeps we've all been.
Well, Laura makes sense.
I don't think they've all been to prison. They just got
arrested,
locked up by the same.
Yeah, same
cop.
detective. Yeah.
But
yeah. So then Laura finds a door that is open and leads to the basement. And in the basement, they find a message for Obi on a doll with a knife on it, which I thought was cool.
That was a doll? I thought it was a real person.
No.
Did you watch the movie, man?
No,
it's a mannequin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mannequin with a mask on it.
I swear that looked like real flesh because it looked like a real person's eyes. And
this
everything.
Thing gets a little chuckle out of me because he's like, "What the fuck's a Obi or Obi?"
Yeah, what's an Obi?
And then he corrects him for saying his name wrong.
Yeah,
and then Jigsaw on the tape says his name wrong.
All right, here's the tape. Jesus Christ!
You want Devin to read it so he can get his voice impression?
Do you want to read it?
You got it.
Let's go, Devin.
Where is it?
It's just the.
Get in that Jigsaw character.
All right,
Do him proud.
Here we go. Whew. Hello, Abby. I want to play a game. For years, you have burned those around you with your lies, cons, and deceits. Now you will have a chance to redeem yourself for the games you've played with others by playing one of mine. Inside the device in front of you are 2 antidotes for the poison coursing through your veins. One is a gift to you for helping me kidnap the others. The second is for you to donate. However, one will come with a price. Remember, Obi, once you're in hell, only the devil can help you out.
Hell yeah.
I think we got our next Jigsaw voice right there.
That's right.
No, you got a little gravel in there that adds like a little bit of fear.
This man had 2 ways out of this trap.
Yes.
He could have got the first antidote and got
Booked
the
it
hell out.
Yeah. They're
They're
rush.
desperate.
They rush in.
One of them, Xavier, would have died right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he would have got out.
Yeah.
Xavier would have fought him off, got in there.
Yeah, he should have just got out. And then yeah, and everybody get, yeah.
Well, he's also like obviously the first guy to have him to do it. He's just like very selfish and only he's like, I don't care, guys. And he helped kidnap him. So obviously he's just like, I don't care. I'm not going to have this.
Yeah.
Immediately when I was like, this is a furnace, I'm going to take my time with this because fuck that. I do not want to burn alive.
No. There's more depth to this character. And one of the Saw games, like, he loves Jigsaw.
Obi?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah, well, he always has the followers.
Yeah, he wants his own test and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
Well, you have to survive, like, because it's the Manda's thing. You know, you survive
Yeah.
it, and that's part of it.
Like, he would have been a good
You know,
follower.
if he had the other half of his name, he might have survived. Juan.
Get out of my house. So now that all this has been revealed and that he's the guy that kidnapped him, Laura all of a sudden is starting to remember being kidnapped by him. And they're getting ready to kill him. The group finds out that there are 2 syringes in the incinerator. Xavier threatens to put him in there. If you're going to threaten me with a knife, you might as well cut me a little. Oh, hell yeah.
Xavier
You can tell
shook.
he's part of it.
Yeah, as
Had
soon
him
as he said that,
shook.
I was like, I like this character. I hope he doesn't burn to death. Is it Abby or Obi?
Abby.
Abby. Abby
Yeah,
won.
it's Abby.
Abby walks in on his own accord, though. He grabs the antidotes, but then the door closes and fire lights up because the first one, he gets no problem. And the second one's tied to a chain. Take 5 seconds, man. Take 5 seconds to
never
make sure
do.
that it's not going to cut it.
Nope.
But yeah, so he grabs antidotes and then the door closes and fire lights up. Soon after, he's burned to death by a furnace after attempting to take the 2 antidotes from inside. While he is burning, he notices a switch that could have turned off the fire next to a drawing of the devil. And on the tape, when you're in hell, only the devil can help you out.
Even if he didn't say that and you look at it and it said whatever it said,
It said twist this or something like that.
yeah, like I would have been like, yep, gonna try it because he already tried to kick it out with his boots on. It's like you're gonna have to burn your hand, but you could have got out, man.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees it or just the camera just show it?
Well, good point.
Because I feel like if he would have saw it,
That's
he'd have
true.
been
Well, he
desperate
was
enough
panicking,
to,
though.
well,
And when you start burning, you also start to suffocate.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think it's only the camera, but it could be interpreted that he might have seen it.
I mean, you could be
Could have been
right
point of view.
because he's just sitting in that corner looking.
Yeah. But this is a rough death.
It is.
This was the between this and the syringes. It was the ones. Well, I don't know, all the syringes and the cookie jar one where she puts her hands up there.
That's
The
rough.
glass box.
Those are all 3 pretty. Like even though they're not elaborate, it's still like, damn, burned
Yeah.
alive, pit of needles.
My mom said she quit washing them after the glass box.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
because
rough.
you're stuck. And
There's
if you just
no-
put both your hands in them. All right,
I don't know. He did a good job.
So
He did a real fire job.
get out. So he dies without getting any of the syringes out, and everyone goes back upstairs. John and Matthews talk more. He says he isn't a killer. It's like, dude,
Come on now.
And then what does Matthew say? I didn't write it down.
He says,
if you put a gun
to someone's head and force them to pull a trigger, you're still a killer. And he's like, I'm not. I don't remember what exactly he says after that. It was just Jigsaw in his mind thinks he's not forcing them to kill themselves, but they straight up are. Even he said, God dang it. Putting a gun to someone's head and forcing them to pull the trigger.
It's
Yeah.
still-
which I think is really good because it's the first time that someone actually gets to combat John Kramer and like, dude, you're killing these
Yeah.
people. No matter what you
Mhm.
say, you're trapping them and they're dying because of your traps, which is at least, like involuntary manslaughter? At least you're
There's
still
a
going
lot.
to
There's
jail.
endangerment. There's attempt. There's a lot.
Second
of
degree
things.
murder, I'd assume, probably.
Mhm.
It's
Oh, he talks about how Matthews is in a similar situation because of the ticking clock of John's life. He says cancer and the game gave him meaning in life. He says he tried to commit suicide and that his body isn't strong enough to beat cancer, but can survive driving off a cliff.
When you watch that, what do you your thoughts? Did it connect more with him? When he tried to kill himself and he lived?
Yeah. It does.
It gives him a false purpose. He's like, oh, I can't die because I still have a purpose in life.
Well, it gave him that purpose because he got that rush. And to me, because I forgot about that scene. And I was just like, oh, had a little more to him. I still love Jigsaw.
Yeah.
But,
well, no, it made you be like, oh, yeah, this is a good character. It's a fun character. It's like,
and what
he's
about he pulls that bar out and he straight up just keeps walking.
Yeah. He kind of stands, I guess.
Well, he just saw how strong a human body is and then how much pain it can go through and how life-changing it is. Pretty good. Love it. This is it's one of the reasons that I think Saw 2 is one of the better ones. So Matthew says to give him his son and he will help, but John says he still doesn't understand. Those who don't appreciate life don't deserve life. He says he needs to appreciate his son's life.
Yeah. He was like, what was the last thing you said to him?
Yeah.
He said, the cause of your son's impending death is the only reason.
And it's like, how did you know? How do you know?
To do that, though, to him, just because they had, he's a father and son issues. There's a lot going on. Divorce is happening. The son's like, I think I should just go back to mom after he just bailed him out.
Yeah. Hey, he's a rebellious little...
I mean, you're a father.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? They push you to those limits.
They do. Oh, they do.
Just treat him right, otherwise you're going to get jigsawed.
But yeah, I'm not Yeah, Matthews does go through a lot of divorce.
Watch out for your Thanksgiving dinner.
But I mean, he put himself in the situation. He cheated on his wife.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of shit.
And he was a bad guy. He was a dirty cop. So we'll cut back to the game. Daniel tries comforting Laura, who looks like a zombie at this point.
Oh, yeah, her makeup's not great.
Yeah,
she must snore when she sleeps. That's why she's got so much in her system.
Something that is so nice about Saw 2 versus Saw 1, the makeup in Saw 2 is 1,000 times better than Dr. Gordon and his powdery white makeup.
God.
Yeah. Man, it's cold, son.
We'll right back. So good. So Daniel talks to Amanda and asks why she is back in the game. And we learn she started cutting herself. Daniel almost reveals his dad is a cop, but doesn't. We see a door without a padlock is found, and Xavier pushes in the door, which starts a countdown timer because the dummy doesn't learn. And then another tape is found with Xavier's name on it.
Hold on before you read this.
It's Dakota's turn.
Oh.
When he's about to say, my dad's a real, she looks at him like, you better shut the hell up.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good catch. I should have caught that. Yeah. But yeah, she's like, you're going to die, bro.
You better shut up.
I'm here to protect you in this game, and if you keep talking, it ain't going to happen.
All right, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Xavier. Oh. I want to play a game. It's similar to the game you play as a drug dealer, the game of giving people to the desperate. Giving hope to the desperate. I think we can agree that your situation is desperate, so I'm going to offer you hope. By entering this room, you have started a timer on the door in front of you. When the timer runs out, the key you will have to crawl through the same.
God, I fucked that up. I skipped so
many.
Dude,
you're doing great.
John wouldn't stop.
When the timer runs out.
Hold on.
Some spelling errors.
No, I copied and pasted it straight
it's
from
just
IMDb.
The highlights throwing me off.
When the timer runs out, the door will be locked forever, locking away the antidote inside. If you want to find the key, you'll have to crawl through the same squalor that your customers have. I'll give you one hint where to find it.
Dude, that's pretty good, Dakota.
It's the coffee. It's coated my throat.
Damn, I have the worst voice out of all.
What about Jonas plays the tape, and he's giving Xavier that
but
look
he was quick. He went in there,
fucker.
he saw that. He's still showing that he's the one. He's like, grab this and see what it is. I loved his character in this. It's he is the person.
You're talking about Jonas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He grabs that, immediately starts playing it while the dude's trying to rip open a steel door.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You were in prison. You know that shit don't work.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not smart.
Damn it, man.
He's just a big brute. I hate it.
Jonas.
Yeah. So you got a needle in a haystack. This is impossible. There's no way that anybody would have enough time to find this.
No.
They need 10 minutes to find this. And
but
realistically,
when we watched it, when I was watching it, I was like, how are you going to find it? Because I thought it was legit just a small key. I was like, it was attached to a bigger one that was bright green. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not completely unfair, but still, owie.
I don't know what it is.
You know, honestly, if you don't throw somebody in there, because some of them had shoes on, right? How about the one with shoes jumped down there?
They could have just stepped down, and they also had a blanket that was over the frame that could have been like scooping a little, like wrapping it up and trying to scoop.
But they're desperate.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, hers makes sense because everyone was like, "What are you doing?" He immediately doesn't give time for them to talk about it. He just picks her up and throws her. That's why it's like Xavier is a fucking dickhead.
Oh, he said somebody's going in there.
Character flaws, baby. So instead of searching the pit himself, Xavier throws Amanda in. Fuck, dude. Amanda, oh man, I love it because at first she's just like screaming, then she's like barely moving it, and eventually she's like,
fuck it, yeah.
I love it because
finds it.
And also when she gets out and she has all the things in it, it's an animatronic arm that they're pulling it out of.
Oh, I was wondering how they did that.
Yep.
I also see it as like when she sits there and she's like fighting the pain, and she starts like just saying fuck it and starts scooping. So at the moment of like, I'm doing it again. I'm doing like coming alive and like her. I'm becoming the Jigsaw.
So maybe he picked the right person to throw down there.
I miss those needles. But here's the thing. We haven't even got to the infuriating part of this scene. They get the key out. Xavier
fucking drops it.
He had time to do it, and he takes so much time to open the door.
No, he gets it, stops, looks at it.
It's like, hey, just do it. You had no problem doing it earlier when the guy got shot in the head.
He sucks.
I forgot about that, and I was sitting here, I was like, they got time. And I'm like, and then he dropped out and went, this dumb motherfucker.
She kind of saved like the worst person, and he still fucked it up.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because that's the thing, he wouldn't have helped anymore.
No, he would have sat at the steps waiting for the door to open.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he can't hold the key. What an idiot. So all of those antidotes remain locked up. That's 2 of them. So that means at least, well, I don't know. There'd still be enough antidotes to get them out alive because the more people that are about to die.
Did you say it was an antidote behind there or their exit?
There's 2 antidotes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Name the 6 antidotes again. The glass box.
The glass box, that had 1.
The safe.
The safe, that's the second one. Then you had the 2 in the...
Put 2 fingers up.
The furnace.
The 2 in the furnace, and then the 2 behind the door that he's trying to open there. That's 6.
I don't remember him saying
There's 2 behind that door?
I don't remember him saying that.
So you got the safe in the first room, then 2 in the furnace, one behind this,
that's just
one in the glass box.
That's just what the director said.
No. I thought he said that was their exit.
Unless I ruined it. No, the exit's the big door
they're
that had
not
exit.
seeing that exit.
So, yeah, the antidote remains locked up. Maybe there's only 1. That might be my bad. Maybe I'm getting confused.
No, I mean, it would make sense with what you're saying. I don't remember.
Or maybe there's more than 1 in the safe in the...
There's supposed to be 1. So.
I don't know, man.
Either way, I guess none of us watched the movie.
Yeah, I guess not.
So
for me, it makes sense, but Mr. Sawman over here.
So back in Jigsaw's office, he reveals that the people trapped in the house are all criminals who were framed by Matthews at one point, and that his son may be in danger should the others discover his identity. Matthews, growing impatient with Jigsaw's philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Growing impatient with the ramblings, trashes Jigsaw's models and plans. Jigsaw remains unmoved.
I love how they say it's like, mess with his plans, it'll mess with... I'm like, what do you fucking think that was going to do? He's already made them. They're drawn up.
And he's going to die.
And he already made that threat of like, you can't hurt me.
They're looking at him like a regular serial killer, but he's a serial killer dying, so he doesn't care.
Got layers.
Yeah.
He's already ahead of you. Like
he's already 10 movies ahead.
Yeah.
So Xavier, having abandoned the others, finds a colored number written on the back of Gus's neck. Realizing this is where the combination to the safe must be hidden, Xavier pulls out a knife and tells Jonas to turn around. Damn. Hate this. Because Jonas is coming in, hey, let's work together. Come on, man.
He's still trying
I know,
to convince the worst person in there.
I really was so upset. I was just like, God, I hate this so much.
Well, that's what makes the movie kind of good.
I know, but it's like that. Like, you know how you say a horror movie, like you said, to like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked him. Everyone else is kind of eh. I really liked, and I wanted just more of him.
Yeah, in the room, it's mainly Amanda and Jonas that are like the two likable ones. Daniel's just like, I don't know, it's just like, you're just a bratty kid.
Well, he seems very kind to everybody,
it sucks
though.
Jonas is still, he's calm and all this and everything.
Daniel's a nice guy. He's trying to take care of Laura and stuff, so I get that. But, it's just, he doesn't belong there. I mean, Daniel, it's not his fault, but he was never in any trouble.
No,
supposedly.
Unless they found out. So how do you think it would have happened if they listened to Jonas and they found out?
That's my last question at the very end of the whole time. No, but we'll go ahead and get to it. Yeah. If Daniel's dead, what do we do? If Jonas accidentally hits him with the bat? Movie's over.
I don't think Jonas would let them harm him.
But Jonas dies after they find the picture. Before they found the picture.
No, I'm saying if they all listen to Jonas from the
Oh
jump.
yeah, everything would have been fine.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone but of course, I think we would have if Jonas was trying to take charge, Amanda would secretly be trying to fuel the flames of trying not to let them out.
You think Amanda would have killed Jonas?
No, I don't think she would have killed him, but she would have been doing well, I guess they do want them to live in quotes, but I feel like she might have been doing some seedy stuff because that scene where a blonde girl dies,
Lara.
wherever she randomly dies, I was like, oh,
she just passes out and dies.
Yeah, right when she finds the frame.
Yeah, which is weird. I was like, did Amanda slip her a pill?
No, she's just weaker, I guess.
Yeah.
Women. Just kidding. So Jonas assumes Xavier means him harm and, of course, fights back and almost gets away, but a coughing fit stops him. Xavier takes advantage of this fit and kills Jonas to retrieve his number and begins stalking the remaining captives. Just takes it back straight to the back of the dome.
Now, have you ever heard about what Jonas's trap was?
Which one is it?
Well, it's
I guess we never get to it.
Yeah, it's like Addison's trap isn't in the movie. So that bat is not for them to use against each other. And some people's like, well, it's meant for the glass box. I think from what I've read, Jonas's trap was
the glass box.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They said originally Jonas's trap was his antidote was attached to a rabies infected dog.
I did read that, but they didn't want to do animal cruelty in the film.
Peter, so the bat is for Jonas's trap to kill the dog and get the antidote.
What was his reason for that?
I don't.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe he was a dog fighter.
Dog fighter, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that would suck.
Well, they told me that I would have liked him less.
Well, Tobin. Well, then you can't root for Jigsaw. He's an unrootable.
I don't root for Jigsaw.
Yeah, well, even when you meet John and you see that he's just a feeble old man, at that point it's I don't care if you have cancer, don't make people kill a dog. Yeah. That's the one. If they're gonna try to make you root for a villain, that's the one thing you can't do. You have to save the cat, not kill the cat.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
interesting.
That
That's good facts. I was wondering about his trap.
I'm glad you brought that up, man. Yeah.
I like that.
Because that was supposed to be in the basement. There wasn't going to be a furnace, right?
Because I don't remember the location.
I think they because it was. I believe when I read it, it said that the furnace took place of the dog.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hate that Jonas dies. Sucks. The group start looking even more rough. Laura, Daniel, Amanda, and Addison are together. Laura notices an X marking a painting on the wall, and upon lifting it, finds a photo tacked to the back of it. The photo shows it's a great photo. The photo shows that Daniel is the son of their arresting officer, Eric Matthews. Soon after discovering the clue, Laura succumbs to the poison. Movies, right? They have so much money. Why can't they do Photoshop pictures? Even the highest budget movies, Marvel movies are terrible at it. Photoshop is technically should be super easy.
Also, they always go to somewhere and take the photo real quick.
They always cut corners with these photos, and it drives me nuts.
At first, I thought it was a hospital behind him. I was like, "Oh, is that the hospital Jigsaw?" I was like, "Wow, would they be in the front of a hospital?"
Or if it was the place where his wife works, maybe. I don't know.
What was the
R.I.P. Laura?
I missed the part. What would be the clue with X marks the spot, and them seeing that? What was that going to help move the game or help them find out more about what they could do with knowing that he was the son?
This is part of Matthew's, I guess, trap.
I guess for them to, I guess so, but it didn't really make sense. Is it just to show something? Because that's when the girl's like, "I can't trust you" and stuff, and the whole "you're that guy's son." It's he's a kid, he can't help who his father is.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to them to come to terms with,
That's their connection.
Yeah,
is
that's their connection, and you're right. It's not this kid's fault. They work together. Let's get the hell out of here.
The second after,
I guess maybe if they were working together, this would have been the point to try to further their
to distance them. That's probably
some of the
purpose
trap
of it.
You got to notice though, after dude gets killed, it all falls apart after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jonas.
Yeah.
Everyone, literally, they separate. Girl dies, and that's when the dude's he realizes that he's like, "Oh, I gotta get the fucking numbers."
Yeah. And so Laura succumbs to the poison, RIP. Addison says she can't trust any of them anymore and now walks off. They hear Xavier calling their names and they find the markings on the back of the group's necks. While searching for Amanda and Daniel, Xavier finds the picture of Daniel. He runs into them and the chase is on. Then we cut to Matthews, who is done with the games and starts beating up John, breaking his dang finger.
He points a knife at him, told him not to run.
Yeah.
That's pretty good when he just punched him. Like, what was that gonna do? When he broke his finger, it's like, oh well, yeah, that would work. But
yeah,
it is like, I don't know. Like, obviously, he freaks out after his fingers broke. But I was like, yeah, I mean, your finger broke that quick, you're gonna be like, holy fuck.
Yeah. And then we cut to Addison, who somehow finds another unlocked room and stumbles upon a glass box containing an antidote. I mean, she just literally like bumps into the door and it opens. I'm assuming all these doors are locked and timed to like probably being watched. And he's like, all right, I'm going to open this door now.
Yeah, they were terrible at exploring the house.
Yeah.
Awful.
It's like they stopped at that one locked door and then.
Well, they also started coming to the poison more. It's like, maybe you should have given it a little bit more time, but.
Yeah.
But she walks in, there's an antidote in the box, and it was a trap meant for Gus and becomes caught in it. She only taken a moment to look around. She would have seen the key hanging from the ceiling on the other side of the box.
I didn't see that.
Damn dummy.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
That's like what it's supposed to be.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Saying the bat for the glass box,
now.
you saying that. I was just like, oh my God, they could, it just blew my mind right there thinking about that. It's like, they had a bat, they could have just shattered it. But you weren't meant, that's another thing, is like, that one where he was supposed to, like, you know, he like, if you do the trap and you think on it, you can survive by getting the antidote. That antidote you couldn't get. It was stuck. Like, no matter what you would have done, you probably would have spilled it anyways. Because it was like, where she pulled it and the bottom was like glued to it. It's like, how would you have gotten that?
Well, she pulled from the top, which is not what you're supposed to. So, I mean,
True.
as soon as she pulled it a little bit, she should have been like, crap.
But she was
she's
like
screwed either way.
She was dying though,
Did
because
she
when I
just
first
put her
watched this
other hand to
movie,
get it?
Well, here's the thing: like Xavier would have probably helped her out if she was able to grab the antidote, because he'd been like, "All right, let's get you out."
or they would have thought bat.
Probably would have hit her in the face after where it's
he was killing her. I mean, he was killing anybody.
They would have should have. What would have been cool if they were like, "We got to get away from Xavier," and as they're going through this massive maze of a house, they were trying to avoid him. Like, we got an antidote. Let's try and get it before Xavier gets here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have came back for him.
So Xavier comes in to Addison, alerted by her screams for help, but only to obtain her number rather than unlock the box. He leaves her to die of blood loss. The one thing, it sucks that Xavier did this, but also for the movie, hell yeah, leaving her there.
Yeah, it does not surprise me.
It's something I always think about, how much that has to suck. Even though she probably died like 10 minutes later from the gas at least. And
because they're at each other's throat, and then he shows up. She's like, "Oh, thank God!" And
it's like, why did it have to be you,
motherfucker?
Well, she definitely could have like, if she like just stood there, like obviously it was cutting her arms, but she could have lived from that. It's where she keeps moving to make it worse. If she had stopped, she would have lived. But you're right, the gas would have got her.
Yeah.
But that shows that this trap was not meant for them to survive. Because
if they worked together, if they were all traveling together, someone could just push up the metal and then she could have slid her arms out, but no one's there to help.
But the thing is that we're forgetting the part that Jigsaw made it where they wouldn't survive. Xavier.
Well.
He was the reason they all died.
I know, it sucks. He sucks.
Her scream is
good.
Great.
Yeah, she's good. She's
great.
Did better than the dude who got burned up. I was like, man, she should have been the one doing it. I feel like she would have done better.
Yeah. So Matthew violently assaults Jigsaw some more, nearly killing him into ultimately forcing him to take him to the house at gunpoint. As they depart, the tech team discovers the signal going to the monitors and follows it. Game over. Matthew says game over, or someone does, can't remember.
He does with the gun in his mouth.
Can we talk about how bad these movies are at driving?
I think it's great, man. I don't know why y'all hating on it,
the
dude.
speed up, how goofy, because they're obviously going like 10 miles an hour, but then they speed ramp it to where it looks so bad. And then they, of course, when they're driving, it was daylight. Then it cuts to them driving in the dark, like completely pitch black, because they're doing the same thing from Saw 1 where they're driving in a garage and just like doing this.
Well, hold on. Maybe time changes happen. You know, it switches to darkness in like 2 seconds.
Sure. Depending on what side.
You know what? It is part of Jigsaw's trap.
Time change?
Oh,
that
my
bastard.
Goodness.
Cancer gave
Super
him powers.
Villain, dude. Super villain.
That's what I said. He's like a super villain.
So Daniel and Amanda are trapped inside the starting room because Xavier is outside trying to get in. They like used the bat to lock the door a little bit, which was pretty cool. They notice a trap door because Jonas's that sweetheart's blood is just leaking into the trap door.
He's still trying to help them in after death.
He is. God bless him. R.I.P. and need the key from the beginning to get in. Xavier pursues Amanda and Daniel through the trapdoor because they get the key and they go through, which leads to the bathroom trap from the first film.
Fuck yes.
Inside
dude.
are the decomposing severed foot of Dr. Gordon and the remains of Zepp Hindle and Adam Faulkner in an advanced state of decomposition. Zepp was played by, I can't remember his name, Michael Emerson, who's in Lost. Just some more nods to the fact that I watched Lost this year. When I first saw this, I flipped out.
Yeah.
I was so pumped. The ending of this movie is great.
It's
How it all leads to Saw 1. I love it.
better
I love
than
it.
Saw
I love
1's
it.
ending, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
There's just layers to this
I don't
ending,
know.
and it's
it's all the stuff
perfect.
that
I don't
like,
know, the stand up of the guy in the middle of the room. It's
yeah,
just-
that gets you. But
that-
you,
I
mean,
had
that's
that
the
ruined for me
greatest thing
because like
ever.
it was before I think I was in middle school when this came out. I can't remember. And everyone at school was talking about like, oh, he stands up at the end. And I never got to go to the movies a lot because it was an R-rated movie. I couldn't go
yeah,
by
with
myself.
kids.
And hearing that really like ruined that part for me.
Well, I still didn't believe them because I'm like, what? Then you see him, I'm like, whoa.
That was good though. Like, because everyone complained like, well, you'd see him be able to breathe and stuff. I'm like, the lights go out a lot. They're not paying attention.
Well, he put like a
Something slowed his heart down.
Slowed his heart down. in his
It shows it
breathing.
in Saw
Yeah, I
3.
know.
Yeah. But great. Just great. Also, something I love about this is the fact that in Saw 1, the key is in the bathtub at the very beginning, and the key to get out of this place is in the very beginning with the trap people. It's the key to the trap door. It's right there the whole
And
time.
Guess
They
who
coulda got
grabs it?
out.
Who's smart after he gets mad and throws it?
Yep.
Our boy.
If Xavier had just taken some time, they'd explored the room like an actual escape room. They might have made it out.
He's the one who
Yeah.
did. He escalated so much of the situation. If he wasn't there, just
I know. It's like, oh, Xavier, why did you make it a movie? So after Xavier threatens Amanda for a number, she asks him how he intends to read his own number. In response, Xavier
Oh.
this is where I liked Xavier.
Yeah, me too. This
Yeah.
is why I was like, he's got to fucking live.
This guy is like,
He's willing to. Oh, yeah.
I will do anything I can to get out of this place.
I forgot how he died.
So
I
he
was
sl-
like, I thought he died after cutting his neck from like he just came to succumb.
No, he get.
So yeah, he cuts a piece of his skin off, puts it in his pocket. Something cool. He was just supposed to, in the script, he was supposed to cut the back of his neck, read it, and throw it away. But
He put it in his
the actor
pocket.
put it in his pocket, and I guess the director liked it so much they kept
It's
it.
perfect.
Hey, they might be able to reattach it. You
I
know?
would have been dead because he's not writing these numbers down. I would have I already forgot after he got past the first one. I was like, I don't remember the numbers now.
That's true. I would have had it.
What order does it go in though?
Yeah,
the numbers.
It's a R. it'd be
Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv.
Oh,
right?
baby.
Huh? So
Over the rainbow.
Over the rainbow.
I don't. That's the part I didn't get. How? What was that part where like if it goes over the rainbow to figure it out? It was
The-
it the colors of the.
Yeah,
The
you're just
color
look-
of the numbers.
Yeah.
okay.
And then it's yeah. What he said.
Fucking
Can
sweet,
you tell me
man.
the beginning colors of a rainbow?
Red,
Red, orange, yellow, green.
And
Roy G.
so
Biv.
hold on, let
Blue,
me.
indigo, violet.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Fuck me, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, boy. Hey.
Oh, he's doing this while Hello Zep is playing.
yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it's great. And then in response, Xavier, he slices a piece of his skin off. It's awesome. Xavier then attacks prone Daniel, but he is revealed to be playing dead and slashes Xavier's throat open with Dr. Gordon's hacksaw from the previous film. Hell yeah.
that
I
pissed me
love-
off.
That
Really?
kid.
That
I thought-
Daniel kills Xavier.
You wanted to
Why?
be Amanda?
I wanted to. No, I wanted him to live.
Oh,
I wanted.
gotcha.
I'm just
Gotcha.
like, wow,
I
this
love that
brat
Daniel,
fucking.
like when he kicks him, he doesn't just stand up and do it. He kicks him in the knee, and if you get kicked, that's a weak point. Kicking that, you're really like, what the fuck?
So did he get the antidote then? Right? Because he just like got a burst.
No, it's
Daniel?
just he's kind of like I guess you could say he's younger, and maybe he already had the. Well, he
But
did.
this
look
don't
pretty-
make sense.
No,
like,
yeah, because yes, hold on. So I think I have it later, but I'll just go ahead and say it. Whenever Xavier walks in, he sees the syringe with the antidote in it,
Mhm.
and it's already been used. We think it's supposed to be Amanda, but Amanda used it on Daniel
yeah,
because Amanda is trying to get Daniel
because
out.
it makes no sense how the woman died in the damn hallway and he's at least the same, size as her,
Mhm.
if not smaller.
Well, he might not have been there. Oh, I was trying to attribute it. He's younger. Maybe he didn't actually have the antidote. He's just like fucked up from being knocked out.
I think he probably was the last to be put in there. He's probably put in there with Amanda. I would assume last, and so it probably gave him more time to be in there. And I don't know. He gave her because Addison was still alive. I think Laura was this week.
Yeah.
Because everybody else was kind of making it, but not as bad as Laura was. So, intercut with the Daniel stuff. Meanwhile, Matthews arrives at the house and makes his way inside, eventually finding the trap door. This is where you're like, okay, well, everything still seems kind of normal, but it's also a little off. The SWAT team, meanwhile, arrives at the location of the video signal, but it's not the same house that has been shown on the monitors in Jigsaw's lair. The events in the house took place a few hours earlier and were broadcasting from tapes.
I
was
love the
great.
little twist right there. It's like, oh, that's good.
He paused the damn thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Matthew arrives in the bathroom and is stabbed in the thigh with a hypodermic syringe and knocked unconscious by a person wearing a pig mask. The timer at Jigsaw's lair expires and the safe opens, revealing Daniel inside wearing an oxygen mask.
And then that's where I did love that part of the movie. I was like, oh, he
Everybody,
said it
like-
so many times.
I've seen this one in theaters, and dude, people they were losing it.
Yeah.
They were like, oh my God.
It's
Because
great.
Because I didn't need the flashback. I was just like, he said safe and
Yeah.
secure. Oh, that motherfucker.
It's
He's
kind
in
of
a safe place.
it's the last great
It's
twist, right, of Saul's.
Well, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
None of them
'cause
really
I'm-
compare to the first two, I feel
No.
like.
Well, like I think the Amanda thing did it. I feel like people would have freaked out from that because that was before we started getting the whole cult thing.
Yeah. Saw 4 tries, but
Yeah, that's with the Hoffman stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Matthews awakens to find himself chained to a pipe, and audio tape laying next to him reveals that Amanda has put him there. What is the cure for cancer, Eric? The cure for death itself? Because she just uses
Yeah.
her regular voice. That's the joke. Damn, I thought I'd get a better laugh.
You
The
got
answer-
chuckle out of him.
The answer is immortality. By creating a legacy, by living a life worth remembering, you become immortal. So now we find the tables are turned. It is I who will carry on John's work after he dies, and you are my first test subject. Now you are locked away, helpless and alone. She appears at the door frame. Game over. Shuts the door. And in a series of flashbacks, we learn that Amanda has become Jigsaw's protege and that Matthew is her first victim as revenge for framing her and sending her to prison where she became addicted to heroin. So that's the whole reason Matthews is in it.
And we could have stopped after this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she closes the door. Matthew screams and threats and abuse. Outside the house, a very badly beaten Jigsaw slowly forms a smile as he is happy that his master plan has worked perfectly.
Dude.
Okay. What happens if Matthews just waits? What if he just calmly waited the 2 hours?
Then he's reunited with his son, and he appreciates his life.
And
he
then
would've
Jigsaw
been-
just goes to jail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does he have an escape plan to get out of there?
Maybe. But Jigsaw knows Matthews too well. He knows he wouldn't listen.
He has a quote in Saw 5 because him and Hoffman are. I'm pretty sure it's him and Hoffman setting up this trap. Saw 2.
Yeah.
And it shows him putting that tape behind that brick, and he says, "Once you're good at anticipating the human mind, it leaves nothing to chance."
That's true.
And I'm just like,
he is supposed to be like a super genius, super evil genius.
like, that's perfect. Yeah.
But that's all too, guys. We did it. We
The best
sawed
one.
We got sawed up.
To me, it's the best one.
Yeah.
I can agree with it.
I think Dakota liked it, right?
I told you I have my nitpicks. But I also told you, like, listening
says one sentence. This is actually something I had to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
He
have
can do
opinions.
this and this.
I
Like,
have opinions. My bad.
I'm just kidding, Dakota.
I'll be on this podcast.
I'm sorry. I thought we were all friends.
I can't
That's not what you
tell.
said before.
No, but yeah. I mean, that's the problem with most of these saws. There are always like a ton of nitpicks you could do.
I want to defend him to the fullest, but
That's your
sometimes it's
you
hard.
I mean, that's your franchise. We all have like I really like.
Yeah,
the
you
O-
like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but it's like compared.
Just kidding.
Why? It's a classic slasher.
It is. I grew up with it, but when I sit back and think about it, like,
Well, that's not fun.
He's
It's also
the-
a movie. You don't need to pick it apart. It's just I'm coming back to it for the first time, so I'm like,
Oh yeah, we're just messing with you, bro.
yeah.
no, I just see the eyes on me and the judgment. I could feel it.
Well, yeah, you like Friday the 13th. I mean, it's
I don't know, that first one, I'm not going to defend it. It's boring as hell. And it's funny because this woman was able to kill everybody super easy and quick. The last fight, I'm like, this bitch is getting her ass handed to her.
He
This
spent
little
so
girl-
much time with that girl just trying to get to the camp, and then she doesn't even get there and dies. And it's
Yes.
like, what are we doing?
Kevin Bacon death, though, was a good, cool death.
Yeah, that's cool death.
that's
All
through
right.
the bed, ain't it?
With the arrow.
So it is time for our first category: the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. It's where we talk about the good of the film, something we like; the bad, something we didn't like; the ugly, something that didn't age well; the fine, something that did age well. Who wants to start with the good? It's your franchise, bro. Start it, Evan.
I'm saying, Tobin Bell. This is his movie. This is how it shows you what he's about, it's he's the best part.
I mean, he's so good that they have him literally, even after dying at the third one, they still have 7 more after that.
Yeah, people go to see it
because of him.
Flashbacks or what,
that and the traps.
And traps.
Yeah.
But
that's my good.
The traps.
Yeah, I love that's my part. Like what movie do we really get where? Because normally if it's just a killer, it's just someone killing someone.
Yeah.
I like unique ways that people get killed. I think that's really cool. Is seeing all. That's what I love about. Part of my love for Saw franchise is the traps. I love watching what these oh, that's an interesting thing to do. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat. What's these new fatalities going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine was Tobin Bell, obviously, and I thought actually Donnie Wahlberg was kind of good.
Donnie
in this
Wahlberg
movie.
was. He was pretty good.
It's like I feel like he just kind of got
Regulated.
He just got put on a bunch of TV shows and stuff like that, and he kind of disappeared. I mean, he's not the best actor, but I thought he did a pretty decent job of being a sad sap in this one for this kid.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And of course, Jonas.
Yeah.
This is probably where honestly, this is probably the last time that the movies are well acted until Saw X.
Yeah.
In terms of everybody kind of gives a solid performance. Even the people you don't like, they're annoying if only because of the script, not because of the acting, versus later in the movies. Like the next one, Saw 3, the girl that's going to be the nurse, and then the guy that she's talking to at the very beginning, and they're like, oh, I got to go and stuff. It's like a bad porno acting for a second, and it's bad. But this one's really kind of the only one other than Saw X that has solid acting across the board. Even Saw 1, I think it's a little rough, some of the acting in that one. But
say it right. They have solid acting.
Okay, so we're going to cut to the bad. Mine is that joke. All right, we'll start with Mr. Negativity. So what do you got for the bad, Dakota?
The bad, it's just my...
Just kidding, buddy.
Touch me.
Also, when you said about knees getting hit and how painful that is, I'm like, that must have struck a chord with you.
Oh, that's exactly
Your terrible knees.
When I imagine her going to the pit, my first thought is imagining those needles going into the knee. My bad is just certain things don't work, but that's my nitpick. I'm trying to look at something for real world stuff in a fictional movie, but it's a fictional movie. Just enjoy it. And that's what I'm trying to do. My nitpick is just also, besides Xavier fucking everything up, and these cops are incompetent. They didn't secure. They only have 2 SWAT teams there. One got taken out with 3 people.
Yeah, somebody would have been outside.
They would have been covering it. They'd be like, "Hey, this building has an elevator, and he's on it right now."
It's 2005,
I know it's just little
the
bad
same.
is just those little gaps that are there, but yeah, it's just they poured all their thoughts into Tobin Bell, his little sayings and stuff, he's in a safe and secure place and all that. I love that part. My bad is just personal things and just you would see if you were trying to be a snooty critic.
Yeah.
Or could they, they could be just too macho, like you said, be dumb and, he's an old man. We got him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely, because they were
you got him.
No, you never.
He's always ahead of you.
You never discount the mind.
Yeah. Well, they should have never kept him in that room. They should have just kept him in the SWAT police and van and just talked to him there, and then no matter what, or at least take him to an interrogation room, just be like, I'm sorry, we got to do it here. You're not getting out alive no matter what.
Yeah.
So what was your bad? If you don't have one, that's okay.
Looking through the peephole.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You can't see past that.
That's kind of
There's
mine.
no
Neither
reason.
could he.
Huh?
Neither could he.
Yeah.
Where'd
So
you find this guy?
the decision making, Xavier, Gus, Addison,
They're
mainly
desperate,
those
though.
3. Those were the ones that kind of killed me. Just we don't know we don't know them. They had a hard life, so I get it. But yeah, it's just sometimes frustrating characters. But that's every horror movie. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, so the ugly. I'll start off with this one. The goofy editing, especially with the cars and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so 2000, and it all stemmed from Saw. You see so many movies do it. What is it? 13 Ghosts does this. A lot of horror movies ended up doing this type of editing, and it's stop. Though I think it's really effective in 13 Ghosts with all the shaking of the head and the glass container.
Yeah, the
because
match,
they
the ghosts, the phasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Daniel killing Xavier's ugly to me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but
Yeah. I mean, he was the villain of the movie. I mean,
yeah.
There's more than
Outside of Tobin.
villain than Tobin.
all right, what do you got for ugly?
I'd probably go like some of the movies that came after that were just like kind of can drag the movies down a little bit.
4, 5, 7, Jigsaw, Spiral.
Yeah, like they kind of lost.
Hey,
what
4
it's
out
supposed
of
to
10 ain't bad.
No. I still think 3 should have went a different direction.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really talk about Carrie much during this, but
Yeah,
it really
just
should have been
starts
her
off-
trials in the next movie trying to find Eric.
And the way they just kill her.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So The Fine, I put one of the better sequels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'll agree.
best.
Turns out to be.
The
It's
best
like-
ending.
I kind
The
of like,
ending is,
yeah, like,
gosh.
you know, this is like why I was kind of like, I like the first one a little bit more just because of the traps. But overall, the certain like little hints he does, all the little in between of like, if you listen here and there, that does make me like it more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, talking to people, getting their opinions, like, oh, I could see your insight on that. I could see what you mean there.
Yeah.
And it's still, because I remember before I went back and watched it, I was like, I remember liking Saw 2 because it was good. When I was watching it, I was like, okay, it's not as good as I remember. But his dialogue and stuff and the writing for certain parts, still pretty awesome.
All right, we just got one more category, double feature. It's where we recommend a movie to go alongside this film. I'll start off. I'm going to pick David Fincher's Seven, which is essentially the story about a detective going through trying to find
What's in the box?
the box.
Oh, that's a good ending.
It's all
too.
about the, seven deadly sins. It's great. It's it inspired these movies. Let's just be
Yeah.
real.
I'll say The Cube.
The Cube.
No, I
The
just watched
first
that a
one.
couple weeks
Hell
ago.
yeah.
The first one, yeah.
It's been so long. I was a kid watching it on Sci-Fi. That's the last time I remember it. So cool as a kid, though.
Group of
Scared me.
people, trap.
I wish there was more of the traps in there though. Like
It was gory too.
it
from
was
what I
very
remember.
gory, especially the
I think
beginning
there's
scene with that guy.
There's more traps
The
in
Witcher-
the sequels, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I haven't watched the
I've
sequels.
seen.
I seen the second one and I was like,
Did you watch the reboot one that came out a long time ago? But it's supposed to, or maybe it was a prequel to
Yeah.
the Cube.
Where it shows is he autistic or whatever?
I never watched him. I was gonna watch more after the first one, but
Yeah,
they never usually do well.
no, I did like Cube one.
here you go.
I'm picking this one just based off of like the gore because of Saw. I'm picking Hostel.
That was my second.
Yeah.
but yeah.
I need to go back and rewatch that one.
I watched it not long ago. It's not
Talk about frustrating characters.
dude. Like it Hostel, I feel like it piggybacked off of Saw's gore and stuff, and that's why I picked that one. But
Yeah.
Eli Roth, baby.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What's wrong with Eli Roth, man?
Green
All-
Inferno.
All his movies are bad.
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving. Oh no, it's called Thanksgiving. Sorry.
Thanksgiving fun-ish.
My
It
daughter
has
loves that movie.
Good for
Green Inferno, really.
Green Inferno. Wow, that movie's rough.
It
Did
is.
not
I
like
watched
that
it
movie.
and I was like, it was one of the few movies I'm like, I might turn this off.
Yes, I wanted to, and I can't do that.
Everybody
but I
just
have to finish
pooping
it.
in the cage.
Oh my god.
Beating off in the corner.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yes. It helps relieve stress. Dude, not the
Oh
time.
my gosh.
It's just he's just a frustrating director for me. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, he can be.
Well, it's just like, man, make your movies like not bad acting and dialogue all the time.
Yeah. He did Borderlands too.
Oh yeah,
let's
that
not forget
movie's doing
about-
so well.
Yeah. Hey, let's put Eli Roth in a movie and take away his R rating. That makes sense.
Well, they apparently
That's why I can't blame Eli Roth. Eli Roth
he
don't
said
do-
that before they got their rating, there was blood and heads being blown off and everything. Then when
Cussing and everything, yeah.
And then I was like, why would you do that?
I make a game about blood and guts if you're not going
if
to let the blood
Deadpool
and
3
guts.
had came out with all that money before this movie fully finished, or if they even started production, then
Are
like,
we ever going to learn that R-rated movies still make money?
apparently not.
No.
Not because someone made a good point of like R-rated movies. Because look at the Saw franchise; they're R-rated, and
Yeah.
it spawned a whole
billion-dollar
franchise.
franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there talking about. Someone mentioned like, "Oh, I bet you these executives are realizing like R-rated movies do a good job." Someone commented just like, "I bet you there's some executive that was like, if we made PG-13, we would have made even more money."
they
I'm like,
should-
no,
Yeah, they can't get out of their way.
studio stuff fucking with shit.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I did want to talk about this earlier, but I forgot. So out of all the Saw 10 movies, Saw 3, 164 million. Saw 2, 152. Saw 4, 139. Saw 3D, 136. Can't believe that. Saw 5, 118. Jigsaw, 104. Saw 7, 103. Saw X, only 95.
Wow.
But because it had a great critical reception and it still almost made 100 million off of a tiny budget, it's still getting a sequel.
It is.
Tiny budget and they all practical sets, so it makes it
And-
last longer.
That is our discussion
Oh,
over
hold
Saw
on.
2.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Saw X
Mhm.
also makes me appreciate Saw 2 more because he goes up against the chick in Saw X, so it makes me view Detective Matthews as the villain. Like he has another villain.
Yeah.
If you watch it in the order they want you to.
Is it like you're supposed to follow the sequels, or is there like a different watching order the same?
Well, you can't after Saw 3.
Yeah, you can't watch
because they're all so intercut together. You have to kind of watch. But
so did they release like a order you should watch it in?
I'm sure it's online.
It should be like Jigsaw, Saw 1, X, then 2.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our discussion of Saw 2. Make sure you join us next week, which we'll have Jason back. It'll be a me and Jason episode. And man, I struggled with picking one. I was thinking about the Babadook. I was thinking about the first.
You don't like that movie?
It's like It Follows. I have to revisit it.
Dude, I watched It Follows again.
You
it's
like
still
it?
Not good.
I
still don't. The Babadook is
Babadook.
Duck.
See,
I do like that.
Like, what is it you don't like? Because it's
I have to go back and
it's
rewatch
a good
it.
like because I look at it as an evil spirit thing, and I like those type of movies.
I understand if it's a kid. He stresses me the hell out.
Dude, that kid, I wanted to smack him so bad.
What year did that come out?
2010
or 11, something like that.
Oh, yeah,
around the same time as It Follows.
You should go back and watch
So,
it.
yeah.
If you could like get over the thought of that kid, but he's like really fucked up because of the ghost, though, right?
Yeah,
I
he's
can't even remember.
He's messed up for a lot of reasons. I was thinking about doing that, decided not, maybe a little later. Then I thought about doing Conjuring, but then I realized I want to do Paranormal Activity.
Oh,
So we're doing Paranormal Activity next because I love found footage films and I just want to do one. And we're doing Paranormal Activity. So join us for that. I've probably heard me discuss it on this podcast a lot because I just love the first theater experience and I love the whole building up to getting this movie out into theaters. It's so much fun.
that movie.
So good.
I watched it at home on Netflix, and I live in I was living like no neighbors near me really, and that whole like knocking on the door and stuff. I was like, oh fuck. I don't know what it is about like things running down the hall that you don't see and the stomping and then banging on the door that really just like the tension of it building up always gets me.
Unsettling. Yeah.
I don't know. Just watching it like midnight in Murfreesboro and like the completely sold out audience. So much fun, man. And I don't know. It's not the best of the Paranormal Activity. I think that's probably
The third one that was like the prequel when they were
the
kids.
third one. Yeah. Whenever it's like the oscillating fan.
Yeah, so good.
It rules.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's good.
Yeah. You could probably go 1, 2, 3 and then
Skip.
Next of Kin?
watch Next of Kin.
Oh my god!
started
You know that
watching that
wasn't
one.
originally a Paranormal Activity movie. I think you
Yeah.
told me that.
What was it
Is
supposed to be? Its own thing?
an Amish. Just an Amish horror movie.
I was liking it, then I think
Yeah.
I fell asleep.
It does like it. I need to rewatch it. I remember really enjoying it. So yeah, join us next week for that. Also, if you have any scary stories or paranormal events that have happened to you, send us some fan mail. You can click the link in the description at the very top and send us some. You can just text it straight to us, or go to the very bottom and you can go to werecommendmailbag@gmail.com and send us stuff there. Also, rate and leave a review and just tell us how great we are. And don't say anything mean, please. 5
If you want
stars
to hear
only.
Devin's sexy voice again, let him know.
Oh,
boy,
yeah.
Boy got gravels in his throat.
I'll loosen that up.
Wait a minute. Balls.
And then follow us on
Balls
social
or
media
balls?
by
Oh,
going to our
gosh.
link tree /We Recommend Podcast. I'd like to thank Joey Prosser for our intro and outro music. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. And that's it, right? That's what I usually say. This has been the We Recommend Podcast. Thanks for you guys joining us. I've been Jesse.
I've been Dakota.
Devin.
Game over.
I was going to say it.
Bye.